Are we on YouTube right now?
We are all over the place. We're on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook off my own personal page quite. So we're on the social media, and that is a horrible accent. Yes, I will trash it immediately. And Facebook off my own personal page quite.
All right.
Oh my gosh, you got me on echo.
Okay, we're good, man. Just hit it.
I will hit it indeed. On this week's episode, the uproar over a Super Mario movie. Netflix says ta-dum to its competition. And are we ready to return to battle with the American Gladiators? All this and more as we once again delve into the pop culture cosmos. And we're back with another episode of the Pop Culture Cosmos. This is Gerald Glasser from Pop Culture Cosmos, Game Source, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and the Lakers Fast Break. We truly appreciate everyone out there listening to all of our shows, and if you can, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you can like, share, subscribe, follow, or do anything that you can to support us right here at the Pop Culture Cosmos, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, the Lakers Fast Break, Humanican Media, and Game Source, it is sincerely appreciated. But it wouldn't be a Pop Culture Cosmos without my good friend. He is our own American Gladiator for Pop Culture Cosmos. You got to go ahead and check out what he's doing today at Humanican Media, of course, popculturecosmos.com, and check out his great shows, Topicocalypse and the Super BS Games Cast. And of course, he's got an award-winning best-selling book because I gave it the award, and I told you now it's best-selling. I don't know the inside on how many sales it is. It is Congratulations, You Suck. It's available right now at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. It is my good friend. It is Josh Peterson. What's up, man?
What is up? So
I'm just going to say it's award-winning and best-selling.
I appreciate that. Unfortunately, this book has not sold nearly as many copies as Vendetta Dark did, and that's because the publisher that I went with has stopped me at every turn as far as like promoting the book goes. And it's been such a hindrance. Like the sales of this book have just been sad, and it makes me sad. So if you're out there, the book's not bad. Go pick it up. It's not marketed very well because I'm not getting help marketing it from my publisher. So I think next time I'm just gonna go back to independent publishing. But yeah. Anyways, I'm sorry. That's a downer. The book is good. I promise. You can read the reviews on Amazon. Just the publisher is just not working with me, is what I'm trying to say here. But check it out. Pick up a copy. Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
The book is good. I have it. I liked it.
Yes. Congratulations, You Suck. If you're actually in the Waco area, they have it at Fabled Bookstore physically. You can go in and grab a copy off the shelf today and take it home with you.
Well, there you go. There you go, indeed. I also want to give a big shout out before we hit back to you, my friend. Retro City Games, our longtime sponsor of this show. Want to go ahead and give them a big shout out because they celebrated this past weekend 7 years of existence. 7-year anniversary. They had their annual 7th-year anniversary game night they had this past weekend. I had a chance to talk for the first time in a long time face-to-face the owners, Nicole Galgazian, and also as well, Douglas Hoyabu. Very good catching up with them. I hadn't seen them in well over a calendar year, so I truly missed them, and I was able to catch up. Their kids are growing really big, so I was really happy to see them. But, man, before we get it back into what's going on for today's show, I know you had some things about you had some concerns about Sonic.
Yeah, so back on Sega Dreamcast, I think there was a Sonic game, like Sonic 3D World or something, Sonic Adventure or something like that. And it was a good game. You know, it was like what Mario 64 did for Mario, it did for Sonic. But for some reason, they decided to like go back to other forms of Sonic, you know, where it's just like these linear paths you're walking along. So I bring up Sonic because this weekend, I went out and bought Sonic Colors, right? Sonic Colors is a fun game, but in retrospect, playing this like I guess remastered edition, you can call it, I kind of
Yeah.
have realized what the issue is with Sonic over the years. Okay?
Hmm.
And Sonic is the issue with Sonic is that it's geared only like all the people that grew up playing Sonic, it's not geared towards them. Like that's why Sonic Mania did so well because it was made for the people who grew up playing Sonic. But these newer Sonic games, they're geared mainly towards children, right? Because
Hmm.
with Super Mario, there's a differentiation between like the old cartoon stuff and the games, right? The
Mhm.
games exist on their own thing. They're for adults or for kids, really anyone who wants to play them. Sonic, every game that has come out with Sonic has been geared, or not geared, but has like the cartoons used to exist for the games, and now the games seem to exist as expansions of the cartoon. And it feels so childish because it's the same voice actors, it's the same like cartoony music. It's that this is the issue. This is why people can still take Mario seriously, but Sonic is just kind of fallen by the wayside is because it's a game made for kids. They don't really it seems like they don't really care about the people that want to still play Sonic that grew up with Sonic. Does that make sense? Cuz like
It does make sense.
the game has just straight up cutscenes that look like they came from the cartoon, and
Mhm.
it's the same voices, same music. Like it just feels like an episode of the cartoon that you're playing through. And I'm pretty sure that that's the issue with Sonic. If they were to make something like, put Sonic in this 3D world, then you would, and you have the freedom to go places and do different things. That would be a much better Sonic game. If they were to make it kind of like Mario, where you can still do the fast stuff, the spin stuff, and all that, but you have the freedom to kind of explore a little bit more. That is the kind of Sonic game that I think people could get behind. But these ones are just like they're not changing, and they're not made for people who want to see Sonic change.
Well, my friend, there's still a lot more time, I guess, for a lot more iterations because Sega is just going to run it dry on Sonic all they can because it is their premier franchise. They're going to try to do what they can to try and find as many variations that they can put out there. So I have a feeling whether it's on a mobile platform, whether it's on a console platform. I mean, right now, Amazing Left, the movie platform is probably the most
Yeah.
successful of any of the platforms for Sonic right now. And that's kind of weird for me to say. But yes, I still think you're going to see several variations of Sonic going forward. And I don't think they'll ever stop trying to go ahead and run that thing dry. So I think they're just going to do everything they can to keep that Sonic train going, no matter how many bad variations of Sonic games you're going to get.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate because like Sonic has the potential to be something that people would truly love, like a super. It has the potential to be like a Mario 64 or Sunshine or Galaxy or whatever, if they would just like make it that.
Yeah.
Don't keep making these like linear games. Make something where you can explore, and then you can put the linear elements back into it, but just make something that's more like, I don't know, something that the adult could sit down and play and not feel like they have to watch the cartoon to really like, I don't know, feel involved in it.
Well, if you have thoughts out there on the future of the Sonic franchise and the IP, please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. I don't have very much faith in much variation. I just feel that Sega is going to continue to just churn out mediocre
Oh,
after mediocre after
absolutely.
mediocre game.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I mean, or the early 2000s, the early to mid 2000s, when they were just putting out many iterations of Sonic,
Yeah.
kind of did it for me. That ended it for me. My any affair or any affinity for that I have with Sonic at that time, and they've just been doing it ever since. I mean, they found some successes here, found a little bit of success there, but for the most part, it's just been like a bunch of stuff that they're throwing against dartboard, and it's just not very much of it sticking.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and there's some gameplay issues I can get into at another time, but it's not. I don't know. It's just not a as consumer friendly as like Mario. And I know I keep saying Mario and Sonic, even though they've had this like deadly rivalry forever. But like these new Sonic games are just not. They're not friendly towards people who, I guess, will want that more casual gaming experience.
Well, speaking of Mario, It's a me, it's a Mario. We're going to be talking about Mario here in a little bit because we're going to be talking about the entire Nintendo presentation.
What?
Yes, yeah, it came last week. It popped on right after the PCC Multiverse that we recorded. So we got to go ahead and update everyone out there on what Nintendo has to offer. Some of it's pretty good. Some of it's pretty controversial, as we'll talk about the Super Mario movie. That cast was announced. We'll tell you which part of the cast was really very controversial on the internet. We'll talk about that coming up in a bit. Plus, we're also going to be talking about some good things when it comes to What If episode 7, 8, 9 coming up. Waiting for 8 and 9 to come. 8, waiting for episode 8 to drop this week. Had a real chance to relook at episode 7, which was the Thor episode, which I truly enjoyed. So I have some quick thoughts on that and how it's developing, plus Star Wars Visions. I want to go ahead and share my thoughts on that as well. Fantastic Beasts 3. We want to go ahead and let you know that it is on the way, confirmed for a release date next year. We'll tell you when that is. We'll tell you what's the title, and we'll tell you if we're excited, or should you be excited, for Fantastic Beasts 3. That's coming up here in a little bit as well. And on the back end of the show, Josh has asked for this for years, and I'm totally kidding when I say that, but American Gladiators is coming back to your living rooms, as the WWE and MGM thought that this would be a great idea to revive this once again. Is the American Gladiators concept a good concept to bring back? So we'll talk about that coming up on the back end of the show as well. But we're going to devote the first half of the show, my friend, to Netflix. I know I've been talking in recent weeks about what Disney Plus has been doing, what Apple Plus has been doing. They've actually turned things totally around, and now things are starting to look up for them. Amazon Prime, we've talked about. A lot of good stuff there. HBO Max, we all know that they've been doing some good things, even though there are movies that have appeared on theaters as of late, like Cry Macho, didn't do very well in the theaters, but has been doing okay on HBO Max. And of course, they've got Dune that's on the way, and Matrix Resurrections that's on the way. So HBO Max has been doing some things as well. But one of the things I wanted to ask you, my friend, it's about the leader in the streaming department, which is Netflix. They just had a big presentation. Remember last time I talked about Netflix in the last presentation they did right around E3, and I thought that was totally ill-advised because it got, pretty much everything got snowed over by everything else that was announced at E3?
Yes.
I had a real issue with it. The timing for this was a lot better. It took place this past weekend, had its pretty much an exclusive weekend, all of it to itself. A lot of things that went on that was announced, and this was really something that if you're a Netflix fan, and a lot of good stuff is on the way. I mean, I could go. They showed footage from The Witcher season 2 that's coming up. They showed The Witcher Blood Origin. I mean, they announced that they're reviving, and no surprise, that they're going ahead and renewing it for season 3. They talked about the Sandman. That's a live action series coming as well. Talked about Cowboy Bebop, and they showed the title sequence from that, which looked really cool and similar to the anime. I mean, just a whole bunch of things. Army of Thieves, they showed off a trailer for that. Arcane, which is an animated feature. That's going to be a series. That's based off of the League of Legends. So gamers out there, you're going to get ready for more good stuff in that universe coming up. Vikings Valhalla, that was shown off. Cobra Kai, which I'm always excited about. Season 4, they showed a little teaser from that. Ultraman, Season 2, that got some new details for 2022. That's upcoming. They showed a ton of stuff. And of course, they showed Stranger Things Season 4. They showed a little sequence from there. So I want to hear your thoughts, my friend. They put a ton, absolute ton of stuff for this ta-dum presentation that they had. I think it's called ta-dum. I'm going to say it for now it's ta-dum. Ta-dum! I didn't think that was the brightest title in the world, but hey, you know what? It's a global fan event for them, and it actually just paid off. And I think this is really good timing. I think it really got everything over, and I think it has people talking, which is exactly what you're supposed to do when you have a presentation like this.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I didn't even really know that this was happening until I jumped on. Yeah, there's a real ta-dum moment there. I jumped on the internet yesterday, and then lo and behold, there's all of these new television announcements here. Not television, but Netflix announcements. First thing I noticed was that our friend Mark Hamill did not get to play Vesimir in The Witcher, as everybody was petitioning for. I forget who's actually playing him, but yeah, I'm the
Not Mark
new
Hamill. That's all we
not
care
Mark
about.
Hamill. The new footage from The Witcher looks really good. You know, it looks season one. It seemed like they were really trying to find their foot, and there's a lot of season one footage in this trailer, but it felt like in season one, though it was really good, they're trying to find their footing. But this one, like now that all the characters have had their like origin stories told, like we're just kind of jumping right into the action and seeing some of the scenes going on. Really just brought me joy, man. I'm like really excited to see all this stuff going on. The Witcher is, especially if you watch Nightmare of the Wolf, like it's really an interesting world that has been put together.
I didn't even mention Extraction, too, the one with Chris Hemsworth. That did so great for Netflix during the early part of the pandemic. Of course, they're making a sequel to it, and they showed a little teaser from that. So looked like he was left for dead in the water, but of course he's not when there's a sequel involved.
Yeah, yeah. I was half expecting to see the Tomorrow War sequel pop up, but I guess it's not something on their.
Well, that's Amazon Prime, the Tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay,
Yeah, wrong one.
never
Wrong
mind.
one. So.
The Cowboy Bebop trailer. It's not a trailer. Just kind of show the intro. After seeing that, like I have a little more like I guess confidence in the series. Like I read some stuff recently about how the writer and director said that it's not so much a I guess a copy of the anime. The anime is its own mythology. This is kind of a retelling or continuation, I guess, of that story. So I'm more interested now, a little more excited about it, knowing that they're not going to just be trying to rip off the anime and the scenes, you know, seeing the scenes, seeing Vicious and Spike, that quick little scene where he's got the blade to Spike's throat. I can say I'm a little more excited about it moving forward.
Well, a lot of things were. Yeah, I mean, let me ask you this. Once again, we're back with Pop Culture Cosmos. Let me ask you this, my friend. It is Josh Peterson. Josh, wanted to ask you real quick when it comes to the Netflix to Done presentation, and that is with Stranger Things season 4. This has been the slow burn. I mean, it's been quite a spell, and obviously a lot of things got delayed with COVID and all that, and the pandemic. But Stranger Things season 4 has been something that's such a high-profile series for Netflix, such a foundational series for them. Something that actually brings in a lot of viewers and a lot of eyeballs to their screens. Finally, we're seeing a little bit more footage, and this one showcased specifically on a house that has a lot of haunted history behind it. I'll say that. But what are your thoughts on season 4? It's not coming out until 2022. They didn't pin down a release date yet for it, but still it's sometime in 2022. I mean, we're getting a little bit closer, but still it's been quite a while for Stranger Things.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about that, and you know, I want to get to my thoughts on the trailer here in a minute, but I almost feel like COVID was kind of a blessing for Stranger Things. Not COVID itself, but like the I guess shutdown of everything, because it seems like it's the Duffer Brothers, right? They're the creators of that show.
Yes.
They didn't really seem to know what they wanted for this next season, because you kept reading during quarantine like, oh, we're retooling the season and we finally figured out where it's going to go. And you know, originally it's going to end with this season, but they're like, we're going to do 2 more seasons, I think they said. And that's going to fully flesh out and finish the story that we set out to tell in season 1. And I think that this like break that everyone had to take because of COVID was a blessing, because they were able to actually sit down without having to worry about pushing, getting something out by a release date. And they're able to kind of really map out what they wanted to do. And, looking at it now, looking at the trailer, if you notice in the trailer, it does look like they took their time on it. There's everything in the old other season trailers have been really like felt rushed, with the quick cuts. But this one, this is the first time in a Stranger Things trailer that they've actually like told a story in it, and I was impressed with that. you know, and seeing. I don't know where the story's going to go because you know we keep getting like it seems like every season they it ends, you know, and like there's you wonder like what's left to tell, but they obviously have a plan. And seeing this trailer, I'm really excited about it.
Well, you know, Netflix has a tradition usually of going just to season 4 and then just kind of axing these shows from there. But
Yeah,
when it comes to Stranger Things, I mean, they are going to dictate exactly when they want to end the show. So
yeah,
if they are going to go 2 seasons more, that's great. But yeah, still, I mean, the references there. I know Freddy Krueger was referenced in the latest teaser that was there. A lot of people were talking about that, and just a lot of things that are going on. Obviously, references the '80s and stuff like that. So there's some really, you know, it likes to poke very much at our society during that period of time. So
yeah.
some good things are hopefully will happen with Stranger Things season 4. It's something that I wasn't sure I wanted to get into, but once I did, I really got hooked on it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that whenever it comes out. But I'm assuming they're stating that it's coming out in 2022. So I'm pretty much going to hold them to their word on that. But
Yeah.
we talked about Cowboy Bebop a little bit and seeing that, but you've got a lot of you got a little bit more confidence in this after seeing the title sequence. I mean, it looks like it's going to try to be as faithful as you can to the source material.
Yeah, faithful, but also like telling its own story, I guess, in the way that the Final Fantasy remake is telling a different version of Final Fantasy VII. And because of that, like I feel like the purists aren't going to be able to sit back and like I guess I in a way I'm kind of a purist myself, but they're not going to be able to sit back and say and just feel like this is wrecking everything that they love. You know, it's the same way that you and I look at Akira and we're like, I hope nobody touches that. But if someone were to take this approach and do like a retelling of Akira, then I might be able to get behind it instead of trying to mimic exactly what was done before.
Yeah. Well, it does look good. I will give it that. So I'm very interesting to see. I wasn't really on board with it, but after seeing this title sequence and seeing how close they're playing it to the original anime series, I think I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot when it comes out. And I know it's coming around the corner for a release date, I think, in a not too distant future, if I'm not mistaken.
November 12th, I think.
November 19th.
19th,
That's
yeah.
correct. Yeah, 19th. There you go. But Army of Thieves, they're already capitalizing on the success of the Dave Bautista movie with a prequel in regards to the
It's just
safecracker
yeah,
Ludwig, who was a fan favorite in the film. So
yeah, it's just a heist movie. Like there's no zombies or
yes.
anything. So it feels like such a weird jump, but hey, you know, maybe we'll see.
If you watch the trailer, it's only mentioned in like news bites, but for the most part, it's there. The zombies are kept out of it. So, like you said, it seems like a weird jump from one thing to the next. But hey, you know, it leads you into what you saw with the Army of the Dead. So, you know what? Hey, it worked for first time around. So maybe a prequel will work this time around for Netflix. And Arcane, something, I mean, they're just going ahead and feasting off of these video game adaptations. I'm going to say this right now that of any studio, I think Netflix has done the best with video game adaptations. Not everything's been perfect, but they've really done a fair job of treating a lot of these IPs
Yeah, well, I
with some
mean,
respect.
they have time to sit back and I guess expand the mythology. You know, they have time to sit back and actually tell the story the way that it deserves to be told. Whereas movies are always, you know, they have the producers who often know nothing about the source material telling people to do things because they need to market a toy or a t-shirt or, you know, there's like, trust me, our market research just says more explosions. People love that. Like that's always been the issue with video game to movie adaptations. But with Netflix, you know, you actually get the chance to sit down and tell the stories the way they deserve to be told.
That's it's I liked it. I like the fact that the direction that they're going in, and they've been faithful to a lot of the source material. They actually struck it rich with Castlevania, so they've done a real nice job with that series. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll do with Arcane, especially for something in the League of Legends, which was not too long ago was a really popular game. And we would always talk about, as far as on the esports end, we were talking about how people would go ahead and by the thousands go to these League of Legends tournaments in packed arenas, and we were talking about how big League of Legends was at that time.
Yeah.
I think Fortnite overtook it, and I think a lot of the luster has come off. A lot of the shine has come off of League of Legends as far as its popularity is concerned. But maybe Arcane could go ahead and just light a fire under people and remind everyone out there just how good League of Legends is. So we'll see what happens there.
Hopefully. I mean, it's still like one of the biggest esports games out there with all these big colleges.
I just don't hear as much as because they used to have, like you said, the college university tournaments and things of that nature. I just don't hear as much. I think right around 2019 is when I stopped hearing as much about it. In 2020, I don't think it's been the pandemic has been. I think our focus has been on other games than on League of Legends, but it's still quite popular out there. But before we head to the break, my friend, I just wanted to mention real quick that Vikings Valhalla, a sequel to the History Channel series that I believe you've liked and you've watched on occasion, that's coming to Netflix. Your thoughts on that real quick?
Yeah, I mean, that's awesome. Vikings is a series I always meant to go back and finish. I think I made it to like season 4, and then I kind of dropped off because I had other things I had to do around that time. But yeah, it's something I'd like to go back to, and Netflix seems like a good place for that show because on History Channel, there's just a lot of things you can't do, right? Like you got to tone down the gore, you got to limit how long the stories can be. But with Netflix, there's really no limits on what you can and can't do. So I can see this definitely being a lot bigger than it was on History Channel, and it almost feels like it belonged there to begin with.
There is some limitations. Just ask Adam Sandler what that is. So.
Right.
I will have to say it has something to do with China. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But still, I think, obviously, one last thing I want to talk about, and then they made a major acquisition I want to hear your thoughts on. The one last thing I want to talk about is Cobra Kai Season 4. Obviously, I've been talking about this series nonstop for years now, my friend.
Yeah.
Since this was a surprise hit for YouTube and pretty much the only, actually was the greatest success story in my opinion for YouTube, and that they sold it off. It went over to Netflix, and it's been a hit on Netflix since it got renewed. This is season 4 coming up, and again, this is something where the original movie trilogy did not endear me, but this has endeared me even more than ever anything that the cheesy 80s and 90s films could ever do. So
yeah.
I'm so excited for Cobra Kai. I still got to get me a Cobra Kai t-shirt. I got to get it. Whenever I see one, a cool one, I think I'm going to go ahead and float one. So
you should do it, man. You just you gotta sport those pop culture t-shirts,
I gotta rock it. Well, I'm rocking our alma mater, my friend, National University.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the university that doesn't do anything for us in regards to saying thank you or paying the cashola to us because we give it so much pub. But
for real, man, for real. It's funny.
They get me a nice student loan bill.
Yeah, same. I was working the other day, and I'm making a video for the school I'm working at, and someone had said something to me, made a joke about Texas, like Texas college and mascots, and like I didn't understand it. And I just like kind of nodded my head. And for some reason, I keep telling people when I don't understand their humor that I'm from California. And then they just go, oh, okay, that makes sense. That's why you're not understanding what I'm saying. But yeah, it's this. Someone made a joke about Texas A&M, and I'm like, oh, I'm from California. She goes, where'd you graduate? I'm like, National University. What's that? No, it's the biggest college that nobody's ever heard of.
Absolutely. Just tell them it's in San Diego.
Yeah.
The weather's nice out there.
The weather is nice.
Yes. But the Aggies, by the way, for Texas A&M, just to let you know.
Yeah.
Go Aggies. But hook 'em horns. And that's for Texas. But yes, before we head on out, my friend, I wanted to go ahead and note something to you in regards to a major acquisition they made just before the ta-dum presentation. And that was they purchased the rights to all the properties from the Roald Dahl company. And that's the famous author who penned so many, I don't want to say children's books. I want to say maybe like young adult books?
I
How
was
about that?
like,
Let's go ahead.
yeah, I mean, I'd say like teenage
Yeah,
books.
teenage in that range. Teens, that's teens. James and the Giant Peach, Matilda, The Witches, Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, Charlie and
I
the
mean,
Chocolate
Charlie Choc.
Factory.
Yeah, yeah, and that means everything. Willy Wonka. That whole encompasses all of that. So all those characters, all those stories. So you not only can just tell the stories that were told by Roald Dahl, but you can expand upon that even more with some of these characters. So
Yeah.
I think that for fantasy film or fantasy, people that are looking for a great fantasy series, I think this is really going to, wet their whistle. I really think this is going to be something that, for a genre that I feel has been underserved for years, and that's from the fantasy realm, because we always go superhero, we always go action, we always go sci-fi. The fantasy realm has been kind of ignored. So I want to hear your thoughts on the purchase of the Roald Dahl company by Netflix.
Yeah, so my first thought was like, okay, cool. But then the more I started to break it down and think about it, the more I realized that all the big properties by Roald Dahl have been done recently, like within the past 5 years. Like all the Charlie and Chocolate Factory, The Witches was just made for HBO Max, I think, made it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just, and Holes is like a classic. No one wants to see that one redone. I think Holes is Roald Dahl, right? If I remember correctly. I don't know. It might not be.
I'll check that while you're doing that.
But yeah, I don't know. It's cool, yeah. But what are they going to do that hasn't already been done recently? Like I understand a Narnia situation where these movies haven't been touched in 10 plus years, but everything with Roald Dahl has been kind of done lately.
Yeah. I think Louis Sachar.
Oh,
So
okay,
you're
never
incorrect
mind.
on that.
Got my authors mixed up. But yeah. I mean, it's cool. It's cool, but like it doesn't seem like something people are going to be into at this moment, like because it hasn't rested for too long.
But I'm assuming by the end of this decade, they've got at least a lot of content that they go off of. So it's nice that they have that.
Yeah.
And the Sandman, just before we go out, the Sandman coming in as far as that debuting, as far as the series is concerned. So that's based off the comic book, the DC comic book, the Sandman. So
Mm-hmm.
Netflix has a lot to offer, my friend. Any
Yeah.
last thoughts on the Netflix to Dumb presentation?
It was a lot of good stuff. Sandman's been something that's been in production hell for like a long, long time. They've been trying to get that off the ground for years and years. So it's nice to see it's finally taken off. Hopefully, it's worth watching. But yeah, a lot of good stuff. Netflix is definitely has some content that people are going to be into. So hopefully, and we're going to be able to watch a lot of this by the time the year ends. So I think we'll have more thoughts around then on it.
Well, I'll tell you what, when people start doubting the superiority or the advantage that Netflix has in the streaming marketplace, Netflix just goes ahead and just whips out a lot of stuff out there for you. And that's what they did in this latest To Dumb presentation, where they put out a lot of great stuff and gave you a lot of great news on upcoming projects. So we are looking forward to it. Like Josh Peterson had said, my good friend Josh had said, that there is a lot of stuff on the way from Netflix. What are your thoughts on the Netflix To Dumb presentation, the global fan event that it was? Were you excited by all the announcements? Did you miss something and wanted something more? Please share us your thoughts. popculturecosmos@yahoo.com. We're back on the Pop Culture Cosmos. It's Gerald Glassford, along with my good friend, Mr. Josh Peterson. Josh, there was another recent heavyweight presentation, because these days we just love our presentations, and that was by our good friends at Nintendo, because they've been seeing all the pub that Sony got with its recent presentation, which I still say should have been done at E3. And they also saw what happened with Xbox and its Gamescom presentation and E3. And Nintendo Directs have come and gone over the past couple months with not too much fanfare, but they really dropped some good stuff on this recent one. So I wanted to hear your thoughts on this before we get to the most controversial part of the Nintendo direct presentation. I wanted to hear your thoughts. First off, the best news I think out of it was Nintendo Switch Online announced, an expansion pack, which includes the N64 and Sega Genesis lineup. So I
Yeah.
thought, as someone who really loves the Genesis like you do, and for someone like me who really loved the N64 era like I do, I really think this is a match made in heaven. And to make it available, a lot of these games that are going to add a ton of games to it is really something killer.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, and just the lineup that they announced, right? You'll be able to play Mario Kart and Mario 64, Star Fox 64, Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Golden Axe. I think Fantasy Star was on there. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, I mean, this is a good starting lineup, and there's a lot more to come. Um, I think they're doing
GoldenEye?
Gold. What's that? Golden Eyes on too? Did they?
I don't know. I'm going to check right now, but I don't think it was.
Yeah,
I want that's when it comes on. I'm sold.
that'd be
You
great
got me.
though. And I think like a lot of people have been mad at Nintendo because they bought this stuff on all these virtual consoles and they lost it, right? And that's why so many people are weary of digital content. But I
Not
think
yet. Not yet. It's not out here yet.
but I think they're doing it right this time because this is like a subscription service, right? Like you're online, you get access to play this stuff just like Games Pass. So yeah, good stuff, good news. I'm excited to kind of dive into that and see what they've got to offer.
Well, at least like you said, it's a starting point. I mean, yes, it's going to be a little bit more costly for everybody's pocketbook out there, but to revive and relive these N64 and Sega Genesis classics that I know you, Josh, and I know myself are probably going to love to get our hands on. That's going to be something that's worth playing. And even on the Switch, which, kind of is awkward at times to play at least console older games from the past. I know I've had a little trouble here and there with that. It's still going to be something worthwhile. You attach it on the, just basically right there. You get it hooked up to the big screen, enjoy it, or you can play it out and about. So I think these games are going to really be a lot of fun on the Nintendo Switch. They also announced a lot of other things there as well, including they showed off Bayonetta 3 gameplay, and of course it's coming out next year, not coming out this year. I'm a pretty good Bayonetta fan. I really think Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2 were two of the better games on the Nintendo Wii U.
Yeah.
And I really am happy that they're reliving Bayonetta once again with another Bayonetta on the way. Your thoughts on Bayonetta 3? Is it something that you're interested in? I always thought it was well made, well crafted, and would suffice as a really good game on any of the consoles out there.
Yeah, they've been talking for a long time about Bayonetta, right? And that's kind of they were talking about it a lot, and all of a sudden they stopped talking about it for a long time. And
They just brought out No More Heroes, and that with Travis Touchdown and all that, they No More Heroes 3, and that didn't go quite over as well.
yeah, right. So, I mean, I think Bayonetta. Yeah, I don't think anyone was really excited for No More Heroes 3, but Bayonetta 3, I know people have been waiting for a long time. That's pretty exciting. I've never been into the series, so I probably won't get it. But I know a lot of people who are excited to play it, and
Yeah.
it's a very high speed action game for those of you who are wondering. But yeah, it looks cool.
Deals with a lot of combos, very stylistic. The How should I say, these stories are usually funny, nonsensical, but very colorful,
Yeah.
and almost like you're watching an anime. I probably relate it closely to that. So I am very interested to see what happens with Bayonetta 3. I really like that. I mean, again, the first two games are very highly beloved with the critics. I mean, they are two of the critically best games of their release dates in around that time that they came out. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do with Bayonetta 3.
Yeah.
Continuing on from that, I mean, there was still more talk. Splatoon 3 had some gameplay footage. I mean, that's also coming out in 2022. Splatoon 3, I'm not sure as many people are excited for it. I mean, it is an original Nintendo game that's a multiplayer platform game, which is something I know at the time when the original came out, a lot of people were asking for. I mean, I I want to say I just don't think it has resonated with a large enough audience, in my opinion. I could be wrong on
Yeah.
that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just not. It's not. I at the time Splatoon came out, I really thought that it would gain that upper level and be thought of, just like right below Mario and Zelda, and it's never quite gotten up to that level. It's had its own niche.
Mm-hmm.
It's had its own group of individuals that love it, but it's just not quite at that level.
Yeah, you know what I noticed too this past year is that there's a weird esports push for Splatoon. You
Hmm.
know, I coach the esports at my school, and they just got Splatoon 2, and there's not really a lot of people wanting to sign up for it. But I also am seeing this in a lot of other esports organizations where people are trying to make Splatoon one of those games that people want to play, and it's been a hard sell for me to my students, and I'm just curious how that's going with the rest of the rest of the world. But Splatoon is a fun game, but it's just not like, I don't know. It's not something that I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm really stoked about a Splatoon 3.
You said it's a hard. You said it's been a hard sell for your students.
Yeah, because they don't want to play it. They don't. There's no like they've tried it and they've tested it out, but there's no like, I guess there's nothing about it that they're really. It's not like a Mario Kart, or Super Smash Brothers. I don't know. It's just not calling to them.
I got an answer for you on that.
What?
Just make it a homework assignment. Make it
Right.
make it mandatory. Put it on the chalkboard. You must play 20 rounds of Splatoon 2
Yeah.
and make sure you videotape and stream your results to the professor.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, you'd think. But yeah, I don't know, man. Splatoon 3 is not exactly my something I'm excited about.
Monster Hunter Rise expansion pack was announced for 2022. It's coming like midway through summer at the earliest. I mean, Monster Hunter, it's been something that when it came out, which was, I think, 2020, early 2020, Monster Hunter came out. It had its own audience, really started to resonate with a lot of people. I think the movie came out and it just kind of like stole the thunder from it because the Monster Hunter movie was so bad. But the Monster Hunter game and its building, as far as DLC, expansion packs, whatnot, I think it's kept it going, but not to the point where we're really getting excited about.
Yeah.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will have its final DLC fighter release. It's going to be revealed next month. Animal Crossing is going to get its own direct in October. I mean, that's great for people that love Animal Crossing because you know how popular that is. I mean, there's some good stuff that they announced. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I want to ask you this. It's coming to the Switch in November, but it's not the remake that we will be seeing for the PlayStation 5, and then you will see later on down the road for PC. Well, actually, I think you'll be seeing on PC at the same time PS5, but later on down the road for Xbox. This is just a bumped up from the original version that's not going to be, again, remade from the ground up. Do you think this is a recipe for success, or do you think that maybe they should have waited to see if Aspire would be able to go ahead and float the remake on the Nintendo Switch?
Yeah, this was kind of a weird, I guess, a weird announcement to hear
Yeah.
because it literally had just been announced, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it's Switch is a risky platform for anything that's not Nintendo, so it's really hard to say how something's gonna do. But unless you're a first party Nintendo game,
Yeah.
which yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. There's I think they only announced like one first party title, right? It was Kirby. Yeah.
Yes, Kirby. That was the only thing that was mentioned. Really, was the Kirby. Everything else was like, they're showing a little bit of this of existing stuff that they have. Metroid Dread got an extended story trailer. I know that a lot of people were looking at the Dying Light 2, Dying Light Platinum Edition. They were talking about that because Dying Light 2 is going to come out in February 2022. And then I think October 19th, Dying Light Platinum Edition will be coming out. So that's just a remake of Dying Light coming to the Switch.
Yeah.
Mario Golf Super Rush. It's just getting some add-ons. A lot of the stuff was add-ons, which is, okay, this is just filler for this presentation, which is kind of disappointed with that. Disco Elysium, which if you have not played yet, it is very, very well thought of with the critics out there. So if you get a chance and you're a Nintendo Switch fan, Disco Elysium, the final cut, it is arriving to the Switch on October 12th. It will be on the Switch on October 12th. So please go ahead and make sure you check that out. It is very highly rated. I mean, Hyrule Warriors, a new trailer was shown for that, for its expansion pass stuff. I mean, Disney's Magical World 2, the enhanced edition. Yay. I mean, a lot of the stuff was just like little bits of this, little bits of that. I mean, the fact that Arcade Archives, Pac-Man, and Xevious they're coming, that is pretty cool as a Xevious fan. So I'm kind of excited for the Nintendo Switch that's coming to the Nintendo Switch on that. I think it'd be kind of different. I thought, again, the controls on some of these older games with the Nintendo Switch don't always jive correctly.
Yeah, right.
But I think overall it was a decent presentation for them. Just a lot of filler stuff that was in there.
Yeah.
Castlevania, the Advanced Collection, it's coming. I mean, it's bringing 4 of the games to Switch that were, from the past. So kind of thought that was good. But before we hit to the Super Mario Brothers movie, which is causing big controversy, and we'll talk extended on that, what was your thoughts overall on the latest Nintendo Direct?
I mean, it was not things I was asking for, but it's things I was pleasantly surprised by. Like the Kirby 3D world, or whatever it's called, Kirby's whatever. It looks really good. It looks pretty. It looks wide open. Like it looks like I don't know. It looks like what I wish Sonic would become. But other than that, like it seems like this. There's some good announcements, but it seemed like overall, this Direct really just showed what everyone's kind of been saying all along, that the Switch sometimes feels like nothing more than a port machine.
I think it's going to be called Kirby Discovery, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of vague on the title for it, but I think it's Kirby Discovery, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll go ahead and Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah, that sounds right. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yes, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. That's going to be something, again, that Nintendo's bringing out. So when it comes out in the spring of 2022, a lot of people will be excited for that. But overall, I thought it was a decent presentation.
Yeah,
but there's one thing that kind of threw everything out of whack. And it's one of those things where you have a decent presentation, you throw out some games, you throw out some expansion packs, you throw out some DLC, you throw out some trailers out there for upcoming games, you throw out some updates, and it's a pretty good overall presentation.
Yeah.
But one thing, my friend, overall just like totally sucked the life out of this presentation and turned it upside its head. And that was the announcement of the official announcement that the Mario Brothers movie, the Super Mario Brothers movie, is now going to be a thing. It's going to be on its way, and it's coming out. It's an animated. It's an animated movie, and it's coming out a Christmas time schedule. Well, these days you don't know what the actual date is going to come out until probably just before it comes out, but it's going to be right around Christmas of next year. So, okay, it's a done deal. It's something that has been talked about in development for quite some time, but it's going to be on the way. We're really excited for it. And then the announcement of the cast, I think, threw a lot of people for a loop. So I want to hear your thoughts, my friend. When you hear that Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, Seth Rogen playing Donkey Kong, Keegan-Michael Kay playing Toad, Jack Black playing Bowser, these are all names out there, some of them very successful that a lot of people have enjoyed over the years. Charlie Day, which not as many people know about, but his voice more than his actual face, or his meme more than his actual work that he's actually done with It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. He's going to be playing Luigi. And Anya Taylor-Joy is going to be playing Princess Peach. And Chris Pratt is going to be Mario. And I think a lot of people, the collective internet out there, just gave a kind of type deal when that was announced. So I want to hear your thoughts. It's been getting a lot of pushback. It's been getting a lot of question marks. What's up with Nintendo announcing Chris Pratt as the choice for Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, so I had a what moment at first too, but then I thought about it. They did cast John Leguizamo in the first one as Mario, so I mean, the bar was already set pretty low. But that also makes me wonder. Like, I guess Mario's not gonna have his like signature accents in there
No,
because
John Leguizamo was Luigi.
or Luigi, who
Bob
was
Hoskins
Bob
was Mario.
Hoskins. Oh, that's right. That's right. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like I it's not something that I would have figured, but I guess it's one of those I won't be able to form an opinion on it until I actually see it. But Chris didn't somebody made a meme about Chris Pratt playing Mario a while back. I don't remember when I saw that, but
How prophetic.
how prophetic. Yeah, memes have been predicting everything lately. But yeah, it's just I don't know.
Pretty
I
much.
guess it's a weird cast. Who would you cast in the role of Mario?
It's a me, it's a Mario. I would cast myself because I don't think I'd do a good Mario. But I would probably have to say, that's a good question. Who does a good Italian voice, in your opinion?
Hmm.
That's a good question. Any thoughts? Somebody that does a good Italian voice.
I don't know. I don't Paul Rudd maybe could do it. I feel like he's versatile with stuff like that with voices.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with Paul Rudd. Or yeah, I don't have anything else in mind right now, so I'm sure it'll hit me like 5 minutes after the show ends and be like, oh,
That person.
yeah, exactly.
Let
So,
me hold on one second. Let me do a little Google search here on Italian actors.
all right, fair enough. This will sound
Let's
great
see
in
what comes
post.
up. All right. We
And
got
nobody will hear this in post, so that's okay.
we got Robert De Niro,
That would be kind of weird.
Terrence Hill. I'm just gonna say the people I've heard of. Pretty much none of these people I've ever actually heard of before, besides Robert De Niro. So this is we're gonna have to come back to this one because I feel like there's gonna be more. I don't know. I'm gonna after I think about this a little more. I think I'll have a better answer for you.
Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Maybe on next week's show. So I'm gonna give you a week. I'll give you like you give your students a very tough homework assignment that is almost doomed to failure. So that's why you like your kids. But I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But yes, I will go ahead and give you your homework assignment. Who do you think should be Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie? So not only do I want to hear your thoughts, Josh, but I want to hear everybody's thoughts out there. Who is the best choice for Super Mario in the Super Mario Brothers movie? Please share us your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. But Josh, I mean, before we go ahead to the break, and I just, to me, I think this is going to be something that's going to be epically good or epically bad. And I don't think there's going to be anything in between.
Yeah, it's I don't know. They're already like pushing their luck here, but I mean, then again, Sonic did succeed, so maybe Mario will be next. Who knows?
Can't, can't, cannot do any worse than the original live action.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Who knows, man? Yeah, the bar is already set pretty low. Nobody ever said they wanted another Mario movie, so this could be just like a pleasant surprise. Who knows? And then maybe we'll end
Absolutely.
up with Mario having his eyes too close together, or something like the Sonic the Hedgehog controversy.
Exactly. Or the teeth or whatnot. Yes, as I
Yeah.
remember correctly. Yes. Well, share us your thoughts if you are excited for a Super Mario Brothers. Look at me, it's a Mario. Please let us know. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com and let us know who you'd love to see in the lead as Mario. Is it Chris Pratt? Is it someone else? Is it you? Is it me? It's a me, it's a Mario. Please share us your thoughts. Popculturecosmos at yahoo.com. My friend, before we head on out, a couple quick notes. Wanted to make sure and let everybody know I'm taking a look again at the Thor episode on What If, episode 7, and I really think that's a fun one. I really enjoyed it the second time around. I checked it out again. It was really a lot of fun. I actually laughed this time around. It was good. It's kind of funny. I think it's overall the most enjoyable episode of the What If series. So, what if Thor was alone? Loki was not in his life in that fashion, as far as a child that was brought back to Asgard by Odin. What if that didn't happen? So that scenario
Yeah.
is brought up in what if episode 7. So I really enjoyed it because Party Thor is really fun guy is a really fun guy, and it really starts to set things up at the very end for episode 8 and 9, which is going to be their cataclysmic ending to the season. So I'm looking forward to seeing part 1 of that this week. Star Wars Visions, I want to say it's really off to a good start. I've seen a couple of the episodes already. There's 9 all at once right there for you. So if you get a chance, check it out. I really think that it's some really intriguing art design. I really am happy that the anime world got a chance to go ahead and see their own vision, pun intended, of Star Wars. I really like this aspect of it, my friend. Have you had a chance to check out Star Wars Visions?
I have not. I haven't had a chance to watch much TV this week, but I'm definitely going to check it out because I've heard great things about it. So I'll probably sit down and spend some time with it this week.
Looking forward to catching the rest of it this week as well. So Star Wars Vision so far gets a big thumbs up from me. But before we head on out, my friend, Fantastic Beasts 3 was announced as far as a go for next April of 2022, because what we thought was 2021 would be this loaded year of stuff seems to be more like 2022 is going to be a loaded year.
Pushed back.
Yeah, exactly. So Fantastic Beasts 3, which is going to be The Secrets of Dumbledore. And no Johnny Depp, which I know has been talked about ad nauseum in regards to what's going on there. And I don't want to really get into the specifics on that one, but I know a lot of people are happy with it. But you also noted to me that a lot of people aren't happy with it and are really going to start and are going to boycott the movie when it comes out next year.
Yeah. I mean, it just seems like this franchise can't escape controversy. They got out of the JK thing, dived into the Johnny Depp thing, but I don't know.
People on both sides. People don't want to see it if he's in it.
Exactly. People don't want to watch if he's not in it. But what I've read about like Mads Mikkelsen saying that he talked to Johnny Depp about it just to make sure there's no hard feelings. Like, I feel like that is the proper way to go about things, and because of that, I feel like I can kind of give this movie another chance. But it's like we talked about before, though, right? Like, is this going to be enough to truly wash the taste of the second movie out of our mouths?
We'll see. I mean, I think there's been enough time, because when did that movie come out? 2018? I want to say.
I thought it was 2017, wasn't it? I think
20. Was it that long ago? I mean, it was a bad movie. I know we said it on the show at that time. It was really a disappointing film, but I think now that there has been so much of a difference in time, I think I'm going to go ahead.
You're right, 2018.
Yeah, I think that's a while. I think by the time it comes out 4 years later, I think this is a chance to get a refresh.
Yeah.
I think the previous Fantastic Beasts, that it's washed out of our mouths as far as it's concerned. So I think it's been washed out of our minds about how bad it was, and I think we'll be able to give it a second chance.
Yeah.
As far as episode 3, number 3, there's going to be 5 of them. So there's going to be 5 Fantastic Beasts films, even though the second one did actually quite poor at the box office when it wasn't a pandemic box office. So that's so like I said, I'm getting into it again. I'm going to give it another shot. I know my family's still, even with JK, they're kind of begrudgingly still big Harry Potter fans, even though JK is JK, but still I'm going to go ahead and give it another chance. Want to give a big shout out before we head on out to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and give everybody a box office update. Speaking of box office, just passed Black Widow as the number 1 movie domestically for the entire year. Dune is doing super overseas. I wish it was here, but it's not yet here.
So Dune, Dune is dooning really well. Is that what you're about to say?
Dune is dooning really well. Close to $75 million already worldwide, just not playing here yet. No Time to Die, it's going to do well already. I think it's playing in the UK already, so that's already in international markets. So the movie theaters out there, they're slowly coming back to life. It's not
Yeah.
like it was before, but there is a nice point. I mean, there are some good stories. I mean, Dear Evan Hansen, I think, unfortunately, was a bomb this weekend at the box office.
Yeah,
So
I read some interesting things about that. Mainly that the main character is being played by someone who clearly looks like he's in his 30s.
yeah, and that was a total miscast. I understand that he is from the actual stage play. He's
Yeah.
actually the lead for the stage play version of it, but I think, like you said, it was a total miscast, and I think a lot of that flack has become of it. It's getting middling reviews, and it got killed at the box office this weekend. So, Dear Evan Hansen, and this is something I want to go in with you, or on our Friday show, one of our Friday shows with Melinda Barkhouse. I want to go into this year into depth, because this year has been the year of the musical. And I'm not sure it's been the year of the hit musical, but it's been the
Yeah.
year of the musical. A lot of musicals have come out. There's still more musicals left to go, like Sing, and of course the Steven Spielberg movie that's coming out later this year, West Side Story.
Yeah. Yeah.
That new version of that musical. So I want to talk about that, hopefully on an upcoming episode. Annette was something I really enjoyed. That's available on Amazon Prime. If you're into Adam Driver and Amalia Cotillard, they did a great job in that movie, and it's kind of weird, but it's also kind of fun. But the singing is great, and the music's from an old band, a favorite of mine, called Sparks. So Annette was a musical that came out to decent reviews. So I mean, right now it's just there's a lot of musicals out there. Just hopefully there's going to be one that really connects with people. Into the Heights, well, we know the situation there, so don't want to go into too much detail on that. But again, there's been a lot of musicals out there, and one of these days, Josh, I want to go ahead and talk to you or Melinda about this in detail, about how the musical industry, these just, I know these musicals, they're out there, they're coming out, but they're just not finding a connection with the audience. So I definitely want to go into deeper on thoughts on that, hopefully with you, maybe even next week. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure. Sounds good.
All right. So we'll talk about more about these musicals, and I'll have a list of all the musicals that are coming out this year, have come out this year, and their relative success ratios. So I'm looking forward to that. But before we end on out, my friend, it's been a great episode. I cannot thank you enough for always being a part of the show. But it's time for you to bulk up, man. It's time for you to hit the weight room. It's time for you to go ahead and get ready. Get on that spandex with the red, white, and blue, my friend, because the American Gladiators, baby, are coming back to a screen near you. I don't know which platform yet. I'm assuming it might be something to do with a streaming outlet, because everything seemingly is landing on a streaming outlet, but we'll wait and see. But the WWE and MGM are getting together to recreate the wonderful time in the 80s or 90s, regards to the syndicated hit series at that time, which is no longer, which is a part of TV's past, but it's going to be revived again at the American Gladiators. So I want to hear your thoughts, my friend. Are you ready to go ahead and see one named individuals like Jet and Turbo and whatever their names were from back in the day just go ahead and just whack would-be, wannabe individual gladiators that are, they just regular contestants like you and I, just trying to go on the show and trying to go ahead and do the obstacles, and then just getting whacked upside the head by an American gladiator?
Yeah, but this show is kind of before my time, so I'm like, I've been reading about it, and I'm kind of, I'm interested.
This was a big show when it was sent out in syndication in the early 90s, late 80s, stuff like that,
Yeah.
around those times. And it had its moment in the sun, but then quickly died off, because it is a reminder of that era, and it just did not age very well. And now, I guess, since the comment was made on our social media, Pop Culture Cosmos on Facebook, to a article I posted, and about a reboot. I don't know which reboot. I don't remember which reboot, because there's always too many reboots. But
Yeah.
yeah, the individual was very mad that there are, why can't Hollywood come up with anything original? They don't. They don't want to. They don't choose to. They just go ahead and reboot stuff like this.
Whatever's worked.
Absolutely. But the funny part is, it's MGM and the WWE. And WWE, if you are familiar with their entire history, they have not done well once they've tried to go ahead and spin off into something else.
No.
Whether it's WWE films, whether it's the World Bodybuilding League, whether it's the XFL, whether it's all these other things that they've tried to do over the years, supplemental drinks, I believe, supplements of some type. But yeah, they had Ico Pro, yeah, which was a powder drink. Yeah, I think they were involved with that, and yeah, just a whole bunch of stuff that they've tried and failed. And I'm not so sure I have I have all the confidence in the world that they're going to be able to pull this off. But hey, it's content. It's going to go up on somewhere. Someone's going to want to be part of it, and I can't go too much off the beaten path because I do like Wipeout. I did love MXC back in the day.
Oh, that's right.
And I love the fact, and I enjoy the fact that Wipeout has found a new life with John Cena. And I do like the fact that it is now, again, a staple on TBS or TBS, I think. Or is it TBS. So I want to hear your thoughts finally before we head on out. Is American Gladiators going to be worth your time?
I mean, maybe. There's, if it features people from wrestling, I could see that being a good way to like bring fans over. But I don't know how much TV the average American watches anymore outside of streaming services. So it's really hard for me to like be able to guess.
Must guess. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I mean, this is going to be something that's going to be crash TV. It's not going to be something that's going to be award winning by any stretch of the imagination. But hey, people love a good smashing every now and then of some innocent contestant just running and trying to go through the obstacle course, then all of a sudden getting shellacked upside the head by an American Gladiator.
Yeah.
I think everybody is going to be enjoying that part of it. So we'll wait and see what happens. As American Gladiators will be sometime in the not too distant future a part of our viewing scenario once again as it's being rebooted by the MGM and WWE. What are your thoughts out there on American Gladiators coming back to life on television? Share us your thoughts. PopCultureCosmos@yahoo.com. Well, my friend, it's been a great episode once again. We have blah, 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 blah on pop culture for another hour and hopefully entertain the masses as only we can. Looking forward to going ahead and talking to my good friend, Miss Melinda Barkhouse, on the Friday show, the PC Multiverse. Please check out the stuff we do during the week, including the Lakers Fast Break, Inside Sports Fantasy Football, and we are the #1 tabletop RPG streamer on Facebook. So check out all of our great stuff we do there, including our videos that we did this past weekend. But any last thoughts on the way out?
No, we covered a lot. One thing we did forget to mention from the Nintendo Direct, the Chocobo Grand Prix game looks kind of fun.
Oh gosh, let's not forget that.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like those games on, I think Chocobo Racing on PlayStation, I think was, they were okay. They weren't bad. They weren't great either, but they were okay. And I'd much rather play that than No More Heroes 3. So
this is true. No more Travis touchdown for you, but
yeah,
Mario Kart can't get enough of Mario Kart.
Yeah, Mario Kart never fails.
So for Josh Peterson, this is Gerald Glassford. It's another beautiful day in paradise right here in the Pop Culture Cosmos. We thank you for listening. And here's hoping you have yourself a great